You had two big hires this offseason, replacing two coordinators. What separated Coach Kotelnicki from the other guys that were out there? There's some notable names. I personally love the hire. I got to speak with him. Seems to be a guy who's extremely focused on coaching and teaching, which I feel sometimes, especially at the NFL level, can get lost.
Yep.
And he seems to be taking a lot of pride in impacting kids and working with what he has and continuing to maximize that. So what went into that decision?
Well, let me say something first. I want to say three big hires first because we're not a place that gives special teams lip service. It's just as important. So three really big hires. But back to Coach Kotelnicki. For me, it was a combination of things. I interviewed him years ago for the tight ends job, so that started the relationship. I got a ton of respect for Lance, Coach Leopold at Buffalo and now at Kansas, and we were able to play them and watch them. They came up and visited a few times, so I got a chance to get to know them pretty well, and we've stayed in touch, so that helped. Because at the end of the day, again, it's back to the people. You want to bring the right people into the organization. I think experience matters. He's been an offensive coordinator for 19 years calling plays, and there's value in that. And then for me, one of the areas that we struggled last year, the reality is we had one of the better offenses in college football, but we were not explosive enough, and we weren't able to score points against our best opponents.
Right.
And that's really kind of how we're judged. And then when you look at who was one of the most explosive teams in the country, it was Kansas. And then on top of that, they're doing it at a place that historically hasn't done it before, and there's a track record. I think one of the things you have to be careful is you hire somebody because they had a really good year or had a really good 2 years. Well, they may have had a transformational quarterback that really impacted their success. So who's been able to do it over a period of time with different quarterbacks, with different parts, and been able to be successful? And then I think the other thing is kind of the creativity.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to, again, the diversity in who you are as a coach, because everybody says they're going to play to the strengths of their personnel, but very few really do that. And the only way you can really do that is if you have enough pieces within your system, because one year or one game, it may be a quarterback like Drew Aller, who's your starting quarterback, who's more of a old school prototype quarterback. Well, the very next game, it may be Bo Prabula.
It is
that
a tongue twister. I tried to intro him earlier.
Yeah, it gets me from time to time. But that may be the next game or it may be the next year, and he's a different style of quarterback. So to be able to take advantage of all those things, you must have the diversity within your system to do it. That's whether it's 10 personnel, 11 personnel, using a fullback. That was another thing that attracted to me, a lot of different ways of doing things to manufacture yards and manufacture explosive plays.
He seems really connected to the kids.
Let me say it one more time. Prabula.
Yeah,
because I crushed that. I apologize, Prabula.
Yeah.